Hi guys, here I am at our next location and it's pretty cool. It's different again. I'm so lucky with these places that I found. So while I pack up and get my gear ready, as you know, you're gonna have a question. Today's question is, what comes to mind when you think of the word peace? What do people mean when they say they want some peace and quiet? I have no doubt that you have heard that. I just need some peace and quiet. Who said that to you? Or who has said it around you? I'm even wondering if I've ever said that. I think I might have. Okay. Have you ever been quiet but not at peace? And have you ever been at peace but not quiet? We're going to explore this idea of peace and what it means. So think about that. Grab your grown up and see what they say about the I just need some peace and quiet. All right. And I'm going to pack up and we're going to go on our little hike. And then I'm going to show you where we are and talk more about this. Now remember, the reason why are we doing all this? Why are we climbing? Oh, and doing our hike, our 20-second hike, of course. You know what to do when you see the countdown. We're going up the mountain with Jesus and his followers, and the reason they went to the mountain is because it was significant, where they thought that you could be closer to heaven and with the skies. So that's why we're going to these beautiful vistas in different locations to kind of recreate and experience that feeling, especially being in nature, where God's wonderful wonders of nature and earth and all the beauty, especially now. Oh my gosh, the colors, they just keep getting better and better. October is the best month, really. Oh gosh, actually I'm recording this in October. You're not seeing this until November. Anyway, okay. So that's what we're doing. So get your walking shoes on, get your walking legs, marching, hiking, whatever you're gonna do for the next 20 seconds. Let's do it. Let's go talk about peace. Whew. Okay, it wasn't our biggest and most intense walk, but it still was a good sized walk. And look where we are. Again, I found another location where it's water, and we're in the middle of this amazing forest. And I'm sure that at some point, Jesus and the people that were traveling with him stopped to rest and refresh. And so that's where we are today, in that environment, to take a pause and to relax a little bit more into it. So let's take our deep breath. And then let's put on our binoculars so I can show you around. See where we are? It's lovely. This is one of the, I think, maybe my favorite place so far. The drive-in and the walking around has been absolutely delightful. So anyway, all right, so we're settled in, we took our breath, we checked out where we're at. So now it's time to settle in and learn our next Beatitude. And this one, Jesus says that blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Peace is so important. And there are a lot of symbols that represent peace that are kind of universal and used all around the world. I'm going to name a couple, and you tell me if you've thought of these ones as I've just mentioned that there are these symbols. There is, well, the peace sign, you know, the round one with that. There's this peace sign, peace. Doves are a sign of peace. Olive branches are considered a sign of peace. And all those signs that, because everybody in the whole wide world knows what they stand for, it really kind of brings us together. And in fact, if you look up peace in your emojis or in your memes and things like that, I bet you will find those symbols in there. So when you have a chance, you can go ahead and take a look at those. And why do we use the word peace? What do we mean when we're talking about peace? The words that come to my mind when I think of peace It's a very calm word. It's a very still and mellow. Um, yeah, just like there's no disruption. It's just smooth and it kind of flows. It's peaceful. The kind of peace that Jesus talked about was much more than just those words, calm and quiet, and lack of conflict would be a good way to describe peace. For Jesus, true peace was what he and his followers called shalom. Can you say that? Shalom. Shalom means wholeness and wellness. Shalom means all of your needs, physical, emotional, spiritual, and they are all met with care and love. And I wonder, have you ever really kind of experienced that kind of peace before? Now, there were a lot of people who were listening to Jesus when he was talking about all these Beatitudes and the rules and the promises and the blessings. And those who did not experience this kind of shalom, and there probably aren't too many people today who can say they understand the feeling of shalom. Now, it's important to remember, in Jesus' time, Rome was a country and a government and a civilization that went into the world across the lands and conquered people and their lands, and they forced their rules and laws, the Roman laws and rules, onto these people that they conquered. And they called it Pax Romana, meaning peace within Rome. And guess what? It did not feel like peace to the people whose land that they took over. I don't know why I guess the Romans thought that, but people who, were taken advantage of certainly don't feel like that. But Rome thought it was peace because they basically squelched and got rid of anyone who had a different belief than themselves. And it may have been quiet in Rome, but it didn't feel peaceful. There wasn't any conflict, but it wasn't a real sense of peace. It was almost like a fake feeling of peace. Now, there's, and in our history and in the world history, there's lots and lots of examples of world governments taking over people's lands and saying that they will bring them peace if they just adhere to these new rules of the people who have taken over. But instead, a lot of those rules and laws hurt the people that they took over and kind of made them feel oppressed, like pushed down and controlled and very unhappy. There was nothing peaceful about any of this. And if you want to truly create peace or shalom for everyone, we have to use our voices and what power we have so that we can bring justice to the world and not just say, I think I'd like to have some peace. I think I would like to see that in my world. We've got to use our voices collectively to work for justice in the world. There's a phrase, and I don't know if you've ever heard it or not. It says, no justice, no peace. Do you know if you've heard it before? Do you know where you've heard it? Because a lot of people have been chanting that, especially during protests. I would say probably through the 70s and the 80s. And basically what they're saying, what they're chanting, no justice, no peace, it means there is not going to be wholeness or peace until there is justice amongst us all. And when some of us are treated unfairly, that contributes to the pain, the lack of peace, and the collective hurt that we all feel because there isn't that justice for everyone. On the other hand, if there is justice, our community is safe, it's peaceful, because everyone needs for love and care and respect are met. So that's why it's important for justice for all. No justice, no peace. That's what we need, so that every one of God's children gets what they need. And remember, all these lessons we've talked and said the same thing about the kingdom of God. There is abundance. There is enough for everyone. And so let's get it out there. Let's make sure that everyone has all the love they need, all the food they need, all the water they need, the shelter, the peace, the respect, all of that goodness. That's our jobs, to try and bring that. God desires the peace and wholeness amongst us all. Young, old, sick, healthy, disabled, non-disabled, all genders, nations, cultures, all faiths, religions, everybody. Remember, God's peace is not that fake peace. It is a deep wholeness that sometimes can be disruptive. But this is why Jesus blesses the peacemakers. That's why. Okay, you know how this goes. Before we talk about our activities today, I'm going to send you a blessing. So hold out your hands so that I can send those words into you and you can hold them on tight into your heart. Here we go. You ready? Ready? Okay. May God bless you with peace to be a peacemaker. Okay, here's your coloring page for the week, and it has your discussion questions. What does peace mean to you? What does it look like to be a peacemaker here and now? How can you do that, and what does it look like? Why do you think there can't be peace until there's justice? And how can you be a peacemaker in your own community? These are some very good questions. I would love to know what your answers are, or to hear a little tidbit of your conversation. So email me, text me, post it on Facebook. I would love to know what's going on. Okay. Then our activity today. This is an activity about figuring out ways to disrupt unjust patterns. So we have these pages, and you cut them in half. So you're going to cut them in half along the line. And then you have these two lines here. You're going to cut down to this one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold over like these flaps, okay? So like for this one, it says, young people need some peace. Young people send messages to each other on their phones, all right? The second one, I don't know, can you see? Okay. The second one, these messages are rude and mean. Oh, that's terrible. That is not nice. That is not anything that I'm teaching you. Oh my gosh. Bring that flap down. Put a different response there. What can you do, what can I do when we get text messages from our friends that are not rude and mean? Well, last lesson we were talking about our heart and making people feel better and doing something just to do something nice. Have you ever texted your grandma and said, I love you, Grandma? Or even one of your parents and said, I love you. Or, you know what? I love these messages because I do get them occasionally when one of my friends just goes, I love you. You're awesome. And I'm so glad you're my friend. You know, that really makes someone's day so amazing. They could be having a really bad day, and something like that totally changes it around. So I just gave you a whole bunch of answers for this one. So that one should be easy to do. Draw your pictures, write your answers, whatever you want to do. And then you have 3 other scenarios that you can work out. So ways that we can make peace in the world with our friends, with our family, how we can help in our community. What about, I wonder if you've noticed any patterns of behavior or things that you notice that don't seem quite right that you think need to be changed. Is there anything happening at school that doesn't seem fair? Like, is there a kid who gets singled out, or maybe it's someone new who isn't familiar and no one's really helping them out? Or what else what could it be? Well, going back to school could be a teacher, or maybe there's a friend who's nicer to one friend than another, things like that. Just keep your eye out. I want you to think about peace and justice and how they go together and how we can serve our friends and our family, our community, our world when we're on the lookout for things that we can make better. And then of course there is the situation about what to do if you see something that you can't fix yourself. I'm pretty sure you guys are all pretty smart. You're all pretty amazing. So I think you all know that if you can't solve something yourself, what do? You find a grown-up. You find a teacher, a principal, a parent, anyone who's a grown-up can help you as long as you know them. Don't go to a stranger. That'd be weird. Okay. And then they can help you with the situation. And if they don't have an answer, maybe they can go into the situation with you and try and make that peace. And you know, grown-ups have a hard time with peace too. So we get stuck sometimes and need help as well. So, yeah. And sometimes maybe, I don't know, have you ever experienced a grown-up coming to you asking you for help to figure out a situation? I know I'm always talking to my kids, my son and daughter, to ask them about different things because I like to know what they think. And when I make a decision, I want to make sure that their opinions are taken into account because their thoughts matter and your thoughts matter too. So please be sure not to be shy about saying what you think. Definitely as long as it is peaceful and kind and loving and going toward the better good, because that's what these lessons are all about, right? Right. Okay. So think of some really creative solutions to these problems on these sheets and yeah, have fun with it. Get creative and make a difference in the world. I know that you can. So that is our lesson about peace and justice and how they work together and how you can be a part of it. And I'm just so excited to have you guys know that. So even though you're young and you're small, you are still powerful with your thoughts and the things that you can do. And we're all in this together to make the world a better place. Okay. All right. So join me in prayer as we close this lesson out. God of peace, we want to be peacemakers and justice workers in your name. We want to follow your lead in creating a world where each of us experiences true wholeness. Please show us what our next step is today in creating the peace our world needs. Amen. All right, guys, thanks for spending time with me again this week. I'm having a blast with this. We're kind of coming to close to the end, and after this, I have a ton of fun planned for Advent. So you got to stick with me. And then we have all kinds of great stuff happening to close out the year. And so, yeah, stick around. Keep coming back and visiting with me and see where I am, because I always find amazing places to go. So, take care. Practice your peace and justice this week. It's important. And know that you are loved. And, yeah, that's great. Take care. I love you. Bye.